all kind of like a freestyle way to express, you know. Gotta love it. It's a true meaning of how you could be. Let it be known that you're out there, you know. It's true art. There's a lot that goes into it. A lot. A lot of people don't understand what really goes into it.
Bombing is what it is, going out there and destroying, you know. But what does a bomb do? It destroys. So going out there and destroying your city and getting up as much as you can.
Take that!
Bomb the Canvas was created, well, let me go back to the beginning. I started working with youth kids out on the street with different art forms, graffiti, breakdancing, DJs, MCs, stuff like that. Each individual element is separate, you know, and hip-hop in general just grabbed things that and brought them in and incorporated them and grafted them into the hip-hop culture, you know. Graffiti, you know, starts way back in the you know, probably the beginning of time, you know. The Egyptians were writing on walls and telling a story, and that's pretty much what graffiti does, is it tells a story of who these guys are and what they represent, you know. And you know, it's to educate the community about graffiti, not just, you know, there's a positive aspect, a positive look at graffiti, and everything that you see on the media is all negative about graffiti. Oh, it's gang related, it's this, you know, and you hear all the negative part of graffiti, but these kids are talented and they have skills when it comes to art and stuff like that. All they think is they're just a bunch of lowlifes out there just vandalizing, and actually it's not really like that. They just need an avenue to be diverted to make it more positive.
I think, yeah, there are a lot of misconceptions, but what I've seen is that there's a huge amount of creativity and ingenuity and a whole lot of energy that we don't usually get with a lot of the art and the people that come to the events. So I think that's really refreshing, is to have so much energy and so much youth and, you know, a different perspective on things. So.
It's easy to attack what's most visible in the public eye and act like a hero, act like you're really wiping out something, when in reality the real problems of society are being ignored, and those are easier to kind of shove under the rug because people don't exactly see them all the time.
There's people that don't understand it, that dislike it, they, you know, have their bad points on it or whatever, and you know, it being that graffiti is against the law or whatever, you know, we got those things to deal with. Trying to get permission for a wall is real hard to come across. But not only that, is the cost of paint, the way we get our paint is another factor. But we do everything we got to do to express ourselves, you know, and it's a very positive thing, you know. Positive things come out of it.
And trying to get walls is a problem, to try and break kind of the stereotypes surrounding graffiti. And mostly the stereotype is, oh, it's going to attract more graffiti, but that doesn't happen. Now I just, I make them look as legal as possible, so the city has no question that was a legal piece. And what I've started doing is I've done a little stencil. I was trying to make metal signs, but I couldn't figure out how to make a metal sign. Like, I knew someone that used to work at the city, and I was like, well, maybe could you do this? And like, no, I can't make that sign. So what I've done is I have a stencil now that I put on. I say painted with consent of owner under statute 30-15-1, which is the criminal damage code under the New Mexico statutes, which the New Mexico statute says if you can paint anything as long as the owner gives consent. So that's what I've done, and I give my business card to the owners. So when I think his name is James Moore from the city comes by and tells them they have to paint over it because it's gang related, they show them my business card, and then they're cool. They haven't buffed any of my walls lately, so I'm waiting. I'm saving my receipts. That way, if I need to sue them, I can sue them.
Other countries that have a lot bigger social issues and they don't care so much. There isn't such a big, I guess, force on graffiti to wipe it out because they have so much other problems that they focus on in their police forces. Albuquerque, they like to put us in the spotlight because it puts them in the spotlight.
Growing up as a kid, I grew up in a bad neighborhood. Graffiti's it's actually given me motivation to do something good with my life. I went to the Marine Corps. I got to travel to Brazil, Nicaragua, the Netherlands, Japan. I got to put my name around all these countries, man. So I feel proud of what I am and what graffiti's done for me. I love it.
Any type of creative outlet there's no denying that it is positive. Graffiti for me it opened up doors. It opened up doors for my mentality and my art and my skill. I still, I don't think I would be as an accomplished artist or be able to pull off, an illustrative oil painting if I didn't have that foundation in graffiti. It really taught me a lot.
There's so much artistry and creativity that goes into it, and the whole idea that you have to practice to become a good artist. It's no different than any of these artists here. It takes that inner artist to be able to do stuff that you can see here.
And then also we bring in these old school writers. These guys have been in graffiti, from the 80s on since it began, to show these kids, hey, we grow up.
At the beginning, it was a lot of crossing out, a lot of battling, a lot of, so it tests your character, would you last, And I just had that fire just to get up on the freeway and just stay on there.
I don't, there's no ethics to graffiti. There's what people would like you to do, which is respect their stuff. But really, part of graffiti itself is getting dissed. It builds character. So yeah, it sucks to deal with, but that's part of it. It's an ephemeral art. It's an act of it's an act of doing art. It's not just the art itself. So us being out here is part of what it's about, and us, getting to paint with each other. So once it's done, we know it's gonna be gone anyway. Whether it's someone comes and paints over it, whether the city comes over and paints, even if nothing happens to it, it's gonna wash up and fade out anyway, and it's gonna need to be painted over.
And a lot of kids didn't know the secret was that if you did a character or a piece that was real clean and you didn't do no tags on it, it lasts 6 months. Like the Caltrans people, whoever was in the city, like that. As soon as some gangbang or whoever tagged on it, they buff it. So that's how I knew right away, don't tag it, just do a nice clean piece. And it ran 6 months, or it's unheard of to see a freeway piece running, So that's how I got to do a lot of meaningful pieces. A lot of people didn't know who it was, but once I said I did Howard the Duck, as tall as me, 6 or 7 feet high on the freeway, really close. That's the power of adrenaline. Sure. This car is honking, and just when you're almost done, the cops just put the brakes on and just all hell breaks loose. Sure. So that's why I taught. So that's what I learned in the beginning, is always train. It was more like a sport, I would always train and just run. I was like, man, these 30-year-old guys can't catch me, I was a little kid thinking and that's how it is. Your character grows like a little guy into a monster, because you keep getting more and more points, or just your rep gets bigger. Yeah, so.